The most profitable product in football costs almost nothing to manufacture, takes more than a decade to develop, and can sell for $80 million or more. It's not a stadium, it's not a television deal, it's not a replica shirt. It's a 20-year-old footballer who first walked through the academy gates at the age of 9. Welcome to the academy economy, football's quietest, most reliable goldmine. When people think about football finances, they picture billion-dollar transfers, sponsorships, television rights, or packed stadiums generating matchday revenue. Yet behind nearly every successful club sits a business that rarely makes headlines but consistently produces some of the highest returns in the sport: the Youth Academy. Unlike transfer spending, where success is uncertain and prices continue to inflate, academy investment works differently. Clubs spend relatively modest sums over many years, nurturing hundreds of children with the hope that just a handful become professionals. The odds are brutally low, but the economics are astonishing. Running a world-class academy certainly isn't cheap. Elite clubs spend millions every year on coaching staffs, sports scientists, medical departments, nutritionists, classrooms, psychologists, scouting networks, accommodation, travel, and training facilities. Add everything together and maintaining an academy becomes one of the largest operational expenses outside the first team. But compared to the transfer market, it's remarkably affordable. Consider what happens if a single academy graduate becomes good enough to start regularly for the senior team. Replacing that player on the open market might require spending $50, $60, or even $100 million in transfer fees before wages are even considered. Suddenly, an academy that costs perhaps $5 million annually has effectively paid for itself many times over. Now imagine something even more valuable. Instead of keeping that player, the club sells him for $80 million. Because they didn't buy him from another club, there is virtually no transfer fee sitting on the accounting books. The player was developed internally. That means almost the entire transfer fee becomes profit. Very few businesses anywhere in the world can take an investment measured in thousands of dollars during childhood and eventually generate returns measured in tens of millions. Football academies can. This is where accounting quietly transforms youth development into one of the sport's greatest financial weapons. Modern football clubs operate under financial sustainability regulations that limit losses and encourage responsible spending. These rules don't simply examine how much money comes in and goes out. They also consider how assets are recorded on the books. When a club buys an established player for $60 million on a 5-year contract, accountants don't record the entire cost immediately. Instead, they spread or amortize that transfer fee over the life of the contract. Every season, a portion of that fee counts as an expense. Academy graduates work completely differently. A player developed entirely in-house appears on the balance sheet at virtually zero transfer cost. So when that player is sold, there is almost no remaining book value to deduct. The result? Almost every dollar received counts as accounting profit. That distinction explains one of the stranger patterns fans often notice. When clubs need to balance their finances quickly, they frequently sell academy graduates before expensive signings. Supporters understandably ask why a club would sell a homegrown player who loves the badge, instead of an imported star earning huge wages. The answer often has very little to do with football. It has everything to do with accounting. Selling a purchased player may only generate a small profit after considering the remaining amortized transfer fee. Selling an academy graduate can transform the financial statements overnight. In an era where regulatory compliance matters almost as much as league position, homegrown players have become the most liquid assets in football. They aren't just footballers, they're financial flexibility. Of course, none of this happens by accident. The academy pipeline begins years before supporters ever hear a player's name. Elite clubs search for talent astonishingly early. Regional scouts attend local tournaments, school competitions, grassroots leagues, and community coaching sessions. Databases track technical ability, athletic development, personality, family circumstances, and long-term potential. Some clubs begin monitoring children before they reach double digits. Formal recruitment usually starts at the youngest ages permitted by national regulations. The children themselves often have little understanding of what they're entering. For them, it's football after school. For the clubs, it's long-term investment. Every intake resembles a venture capital portfolio. Dozens are recruited, only a few survive. One extraordinary success can repay every unsuccessful attempt. The famous academies have refined this process for generations. Barcelona's La Masia became synonymous with technical excellence, producing one of football's greatest generations and shaping an entire style of play. Ajax transformed youth development into a national philosophy. repeatedly producing elite talent before exporting players across Europe. French academies have become production lines for technically gifted athletes, many emerging from suburban communities before starring in Europe's biggest leagues. Portugal's sporting institutions routinely develop players who later command enormous transfer fees from wealthier competitions. Each academy operates differently, but the underlying economics remain remarkably similar. Thousands are observed, hundreds are trialed, dozens are accepted. Only a handful ever reach the professional game. And often, just one graduate from an age group is enough to justify years of investment. Football didn't simply build this system. It also created mechanisms to reward it. Imagine a small local club spending years coaching a gifted 12-year-old. Eventually, that player joins a bigger academy. Later, he moves to an even larger club. Eventually, he signs for one of Europe's giants in a transfer worth $100 million. Without special protections, the original grassroots club would receive nothing despite playing a crucial role in his development. To solve this problem, FIFA introduced training compensation and solidarity payments. Whenever certain transfers occur, portions of the transfer fee are redistributed to clubs that train the player between the ages of 12 and 21. Every stage of development matters. A community club that coached a future superstar for only a few seasons may continue receiving payments every time that player completes another major transfer. It's one of football's most fascinating financial inventions. Not exactly royalties, but remarkably close. For hundreds of smaller clubs around the world, this isn't supplementary income. It's the business model itself. Identify talented youngsters, develop them, sell them upward, negotiate future sell-on percentages, receive solidarity payments years later, reinvest, repeat. Many clubs survive because the cycle never stops. Some have elevated that strategy into their entire identity. Portuguese clubs have mastered buying or developing promising youngsters, exposing them to European competition, then selling them into the English Premier League or other wealthy competitions for enormous profits. Dutch football has operated on similar principles for decades. South American clubs frequently rely on one exceptional transfer every few seasons to stabilize finances, renovate facilities, or fund future squads. The academy isn't simply attached to the club. It is the engine that keeps the club moving. The rise of multi-club ownership has pushed this model even further. Large ownership groups now control clubs across several countries. Instead of viewing development as something happening in one academy, they see an international production chain. A teenager might be recruited in South America. He develops in a second-tier European league, where playing opportunities are plentiful. Later, he moves to the flagship club. Finally, he is sold into one of football's richest competitions. Talent travels upward through the network. Capital flows back down. Football increasingly resembles a global manufacturing supply chain. Only the product happens to wear boots instead of being assembled in a factory. Yet behind every impressive balance sheet lies a much more difficult reality. Academy football creates extraordinary winners. It also creates thousands of quiet disappointments. For every teenager making a first-team debut under stadium lights, hundreds receive a phone call or meeting that changes everything. Years of training, years of sacrifice, years spent believing professional football is inevitable. Then, at 16, 18, or 19, the journey ends. Many academy players leave, having never experienced another career, another educational path, or another sporting environment. Some have relocated far from home. Others built their entire identity around becoming professional footballers. Yes, it's a beautiful sporting story. A child chasing a dream. A family witnessing years of sacrifice rewarded. Supporters seeing one of their own represent the badge. But it's also one of the smartest business models in modern sport. A decade-long manufacturing process, protected by development compensation, strengthened by accounting regulations, powered by scouting networks stretching across entire countries, capable of turning playground football into balance sheet profit. The transfer market purchases finished products. The academy creates them. The finished stars eventually enter the transfer market, where installments, sell-on clauses, bonuses, amortization, and contract negotiations shape the next chapter of their financial journey. That's a story in itself, and it's exactly how football's transfer machine really works. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the business of academies, subscribe for more stories exploring the hidden economics of football, because the money behind the beautiful game runs far deeper than the scoreline.